Hey everybody, and welcome to my In 5 series on the Ableton Move. I got a few questions over the last month from people just asking what my thoughts were on this as a early or beginner instrument, and I don't usually do reviews, but it seems like there's some interest out there still, and I've done like a few videos on the Ableton Move. So I would say from my standpoint, where I've got a lot of other instruments, there's some things I'm not as happy about with the Move, and you may have seen some of those videos where it just doesn't integrate very well with a lot of other gear. You can do it, but you need extra gear to make it work. But as a like, this is my first instrument. For 500 bucks, you get quite a bit, even though it's only four tracks. I think it would, like, for somebody that's a beginner, it's going to help you really focus on getting the most that you can out of a device and learning how to do that. Since you've only got four tracks, you can play up to, I think, I don't know, 64, 128 or whatever notes at a time. So you can get a ridiculous amount out of what initially sounds like a pretty simple thing. It's got the drift synthesizer, and you've got two effects that you can do on top of that. So it's got a pretty good synth engine for being able to just kind of design your own sounds. You can also sample as much as you'd like and take other synths that you'd like to kind of work with or play with. So as like it's my only device, I kind of like it. I think it works well. And as a controller for Ableton, anything that you're going to learn here, by and large, for like how to mute tracks or set your scales or program in sequences, will work in controller mode. So one of the things that, like, I kind of didn't like about the push is just how big it is. It takes up an awful lot of space. It's hard. It's not really backpackable. It's fine, and I love the push. I don't have mine anymore, but I think it's a great device. But the Move here, and this is something that is super thin, super light. You can toss it in a backpack. You can use it as an instrument by itself, or you can use it to control Ableton. You can take the projects that you have in here and move them into Ableton and load it up. They will probably end up, depending on how complicated of a piece you make, look very complicated and confusing in Ableton. That said, still, you can go do your mixing, mastering. You can add extra tracks in Ableton and do all that fun stuff. So I think as a entry device, this is nice. It will help force you to learn how to get the most that you can out of a instrument, because it's got like just so much capability to it. It's, four tracks sounds like not a whole lot to work with, and in some ways it's not, but it will force you to rethink how you're using notes, how you're programming synths, what you're using for effects and things. And if you just like kind of look a little bit more under the covers, the Ableton Move just has a lot to work with. If you've got a couple other devices, though, it doesn't like to play with things. It's getting better since the 1.0 firmware. I mean, we're at 1.5 now. It's getting better. It's starting to learn how to talk over MIDI with other devices, so that you can do like syncing or use it as a MIDI controller, but it still doesn't quite feel natural, I guess is how I would put it. It doesn't quite feel natural. You have to go through some like extra steps. And like I've just found from other videos I've made trying to get it to work with other things, the Roland M1, probably one of the handiest little USB devices that you just plug it into the MIDI USB jack here. It'll talk to the Roland M1. I'm sure it will work with other devices as well, but the Roland M1, it just sees it, and then you can plug it into any MIDI device, and the Move will work just fine. I do really like the pads here. I think they're quite playable. They're pretty expressive. You don't get like that MPE that you're going to get on the Push 3, but you can play notes quite well. If you're still like learning notes and things, it is super handy to be able to set your key, if you want to be in key or if you want to be chromatic. So if you're just trying to learn your way around notes, but you don't want to learn your way around like a piano keyboard, or you're kind of in the like, maybe a guitar will work as well. I mean, you can go fourths, octaves, to at least switch between. I'd like to see a few more added in here, but I mean, fourths and octaves is honestly pretty good to work with for being able to kind of like learn your way around the pads here. Beyond that, I would say, you know, the knobs here, just to be able to touch them and see, you initially might think that it's hard to use like this little display to see what's going on, but because we can touch the knob, you can figure out what the heck the knob is assigned to, and you can see what the value is very quickly. And you know, you don't have to work too hard to go do what I forget what Ableton calls them, but like effectively like the parameter locks or like per step component for like what you might actually want this value to be. You can go in and program those things pretty easily and get them to be assigned different values so that you can have one sample, like one kick drum. You can make it sound like it's changing over time, whether it's velocity change or filter or other things. You can get a lot of cool stuff. Connectivity over Wi-Fi. I mean, if you're going to try and offload your projects here, we'll go here. Like, you're only going to be able to store 32 projects on your Move. Maybe it sounds small, maybe it sounds large, but you can pretty easily get your projects off of the Move and get it onto a computer. You can get it from the computer back over. When you move them over, you can load them into Ableton to go work with. So definitely a lot of power there, and it's pretty nice to be able to just kind of, you know, transition between different things. So you can play this out live, I feel like, and be able to do some performances if you want in a pretty cool way. What else are thoughts that come to mind? I don't know. Like, I think as an early device, it's pretty nice. For me, where I get kind of hung up is, you know, I've got a lot of other synthesizers and things that I want to be the center of, like the MPC. I want that to be generally where I kind of am doing a lot of my song work, starting and ending there. And the Move is something where, for me personally, I've got the other devices that do a lot of these things a lot better. Doesn't mean I can't do it here, but like if I'm starting something on the Move, I'm probably just going from the Move directly into Ableton Live and working in the DAW once I want to kind of wrap it up or finish it. Whereas on the MPC, like I can kind of start and end there if I would like to, or if I get to a point where I'm like, let's go move it to the DAW, I can do that. So I feel like I have a few more options in other devices. As far as alternatives, I would say like look at a MPC one if you want something that's got a little bit more of a comprehensive set of options for synthesizers and effects and DAW like style recording and a lot more tracks. You can get a used MPC one for probably what you're going to get this new for Ableton Move. So I think it's comparable. The SP404 Mark II also, I would say, it's in that space of you can get it used for like 380 to 400 or so, and kind of in the space of what you're going to get a used Move for. I've certainly done a lot of videos on the SP404 Mark II and quite a few on the MPC. I'm quite comfortable with working with both of them, and I think they're comparable. I would say you can probably make about the same type of music in general on any of those devices. It just takes the time to kind of think through and decide what you want to do with it. But yeah, I don't know. I like the Move. I think it's a nice little standalone, use it by itself unit. And it's also, if you get the right connections, like the being able to set up the keyboard here so you can play things in tune and in scale on other devices, super handy. So, well, that said, if it feels like something that you're into, like I would say go for it. Especially if it's like one of your earlier first devices. If you've got a lot of other stuff, you're probably going to want to tend to use this more as a Ableton controller and sometimes as a synth or sampler, but nothing wrong with that. Anyway, guys, thanks for stopping by. Keep making music, keep having fun. Remember, if it sounds good, it is good. And peace.